Alright, what is up, you guys? I am here with the WrestleMania 16 pay-per-view review, or WrestleMania 2000. I myself say 16, but the official name for it is 2000, so we'll just go with that for now. I'll probably just title the review 2000. But this is one of my favorite DVDs. Like, check that out. You know, the green, you have the beautiful spine. It looks so cool on the shelf. You know, you have the coating on it. I just love this DVD. This is my favorite designed DVD, possibly ever. So this was at the Pond in Anaheim, California. And, you know, this one, I know Relaxing Ghost will agree with me. This is a guilty pleasure WrestleMania. I know he loves this pay-per-view, and I like this pay-per-view as well. It has major issues. It is not a good WrestleMania, but for some reason, to this day, I still love it. So, if you had to ask me what's my guilty pleasure WrestleMania, it's this one. And there is also another guilty pleasure WrestleMania, but we will get to that eventually. And, you know, in terms of, you know, the stage and the presentation, I love the stage for this. I think it's so cool looking. And, you know, I love the arena atmosphere. I think I will always prefer arenas over stadiums. You know, it's easier to hear the crowd. You can see the reactions better. I just love arena WrestleManias a little bit more. So, to start out here, we're going to see a trend, because this was the only WrestleMania to not feature a standard rules singles match. Starting out, we have the Big Boss Man and Bull Buchanan versus the Godfather and D'Lo Brown. This went 9 minutes, and this was obviously a tag team match. You know, this one really, it has the problem with a lot of these matches on here. It just feels useless. You know, it's a decent opener, but it is not by any means a great tag team match. It just feels like it's thrown on there, and, you know, which is unfortunate, because WrestleMania openers should always, you know, really get you electrified and ready for the rest of the pay-per-view, and this one just didn't quite do that for me. Next up, I love this match. I probably shouldn't. The Hardcore Battle Royal. And let's see if we can get a list here of everyone that was in here. Okay, we have Viscera, Thrasher, Taz, Takam and Chikanu. I did not pronounce that right. Michinoku. Wow, I should probably cut that out, but I'm not. Michinoku. We had Rodney, Pete Gas, Mosh, Joey Abs, Funaki, Farouk, Bradshaw, Crash Holly, Hardcore Holly, Taz, and that should be it. Yep, that's it. So, this match is all over the place. It spills ringside, spills backstage. We had 10 winners: Taz, Viscera, Funaki, Rodney, Joey Abs, Thrasher, Pete Gas, Taz, Crash Holly, and then Hardcore Holly. And this went 15 minutes. I love this match. It's so bad and stupid and chaotic that it's just so entertaining and fun. And then we had T&A, which was Albert and Test, with Trish Stratus versus Head Cheese, Al Snow, and Steve Blackman. Who's not an Al Snow fan? Come on. It's Head. And, you know, another very standard average tag team match. This went 7 minutes. And, you know, it's okay. But, you know, this was a good lead-in to the next match. The first ever triangle ladder match, and what I call the first unofficial TLC match. It's basically TLC. But it's not. Edge and Christian versus the Hardy Boys versus the Dudley Boys. You know, this isn't quite as good as the other, you know, like SummerSlam 2000 or WrestleMania 17, but this is still a really entertaining match. And if you look back, this created so many high spots, so many tropes that you see now in any kind of gimmick match. Like, these guys were really innovative, and they deserve that credit. And I would give anything just for all 6 of these guys to just do commentary on all of their ladder matches together. You know, this is just so cool. You, of course, have the famous, I don't know if you can see it, Jeff Hardy spot where he basically landed on his tailbone. Makes me cringe every single time. But next up we had Terry Runnels with the Fabulous Moolah versus the Cat with Val Venus as the special guest referee. The only singles match, and it's a cat fight. 2 minutes and 26 seconds. And of course you had the Cat, who was Jerry Lawler's wife. I think they were still married at the time. And this is just, it's not a disaster, but you kind of had to have this after the Triangle Ladder match, to be honest. Next up we had China and Too Cool, Grandmaster Sexay, speaking of Jerry Lawler, and Scotty 2 Hotty versus the Radicals, Dean Malenko, Eddie Guerrero, and Perry Saturn. I love the Radicals. You know, anytime Dean Malenko and Eddie Guerrero are in the ring together, to me that's a win. And, you know, this was obviously a 6-person intergender tag team match. This was entertaining. You know, just to see China in there with Eddie Guerrero is always cool too, you know, given their storyline. And, you know, I'm not the biggest fan of Too Cool, but, you know, they can make themselves work in the right environment, in the right matchup, and the right opponents. So, I did like that match. Next up we have, to me, match of the night, and one of my favorite early 2000s matches, period. Chris Benoit, Chris Jericho, and Kurt Angle. A 2-fall triple threat match. One for the Intercontinental title, one for the European title. Some people hate that idea, some people love it. I absolutely fucking love this idea. It is something I don't think we've seen again, at least in WWE. You had Chris Benoit defeating both of them for the Intercontinental title, and then Chris Jericho winning the European title. So it's both titles. So it's 2 falls, basically. It's almost like 2 separate matches in a way. I love this. Like, this was so cool. The first time I saw this, you know, I watched it multiple times. I think this is a really innovative, creative idea. And, you know, all 3 of these guys in the same ring at the same time, fuck yeah, I'll take that. Yeah, this was so cool. And, you know, one of my favorite early 2000s WrestleMania matches. And then we had Keenan Rikishi versus Road Dogg and X-Pac, tag team match. This only went 4 minutes, so there's really not much you can do in that amount of time. You know, very, once again, very early 2000s gimmicky. And very Attitude Era. This is a very Attitude Era pay-per-view. You know, a lot of interference, a lot of gimmicks. As you can see, to me, this is the most Attitude Era WrestleMania. You know, not really in terms of quality, but in terms of just kind of how it's produced and booked. And a lot of this felt like Vince Russo was just back in Gorilla, telling everyone what to do. Okay, then we had the Fatal 4-Way Elimination match for the WWF Championship. Triple H with Stephanie McMahon Helmsley versus The Rock with Vince McMahon, Mick Foley with Linda McMahon, and Big Show with Shane McMahon. As you can see, there's your main event. This main event's very bashed and very criticized. I can enjoy this match for what it is, but at the time, what would have made the most sense was Triple H and The Rock. And it sucks that we didn't get the Backlash match between Triple H and The Rock. That's just kind of what made sense to me. I feel like, well, originally The Rock was supposed to win the Rumble clean, because obviously he botched the Rumble and his feet touched first, and then Big Show technically won that Rumble. Technically speaking. It just wasn't, it was acknowledged, but it wasn't made official. The record books still say The Rock. So, you know, this match, you have to look at it for what it is. It relies heavily on storyline, which is fine, but I feel like it lacks with in-ring quality as well. So, I'm not just gonna sit here angry and swearing about the main event. It's just, it is what it is. It's not terrible. It's not, you know, WrestleMania, I don't know, 27 main event bad, or WrestleMania 9 bad, or WrestleMania 8 bad. Like, it's just a main event. But an overall letter grade that I'm going to give this pay-per-view is, I'm going to give this is generous, I'm going to give it a C. I should probably go lower, but I do stand my ground, and I don't think this is as bad as quite everyone says. You know, give it another chance. Go back and watch it. It is very entertaining. It just does have its obvious flaws. But, whatever. For now, I hope you guys enjoyed. Give me your opinions down below. Peace out.